Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your friend James Shaw. Thank you so much for being with us today as we do what we do, which is talk to elite people who are doing elite things. And I'm really happy to have my friend Sarah back. We talked to you about a year ago about this, and you've made some updates and revisions, and you've gotten even more success out of what you're doing on YouTube and now on your Instagram. And so we want to share that with everybody. Thanks, Sarah, for joining us. Will you tell us who you are and where you are and a little bit about your business?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I am Sarah Maslowski, real estate agent here in the North Metro Atlanta area. And I have been diving into YouTube and using it as the main source of business in my real estate business for the past 4 years. And recently diving into Instagram and starting to figure out the tips and tricks that works on Instagram to actually get leads. And so now we're starting to convert some of our Instagram followers into actual real estate leads as well.
It's working out great. You got three-quarters of your business came from YouTube in 2024. That's a
Yes.
significant number. Now, what I find interesting is it's a little bit less than the year before, and I think that's on purpose, that you're doing some other things as well. But you're going to teach us a strategy today and walk through what you're doing to help us out. But what I'm really excited about is on April 23rd at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, you're going to give a free class that really goes through some of the strategies of that. So today's kind of a preview of what you're doing. April 23rd at 2 is what everyone needs to come to, and we'll have information on how to sign up for it in Pivot Shift Ahead and in other places. But give us a quick overview of what we're going to cover on the 23rd.
Yeah, so I am going to teach exactly how I use YouTube in my business to get real estate leads. And I'm going to kind of share with you the journey of what I went through. Like many of you, I heard years ago that if you were not doing video in your real estate business, that you were behind. And here we are 4 or 5 years later, and that's still the case, that if you're not doing video in your real estate business, you're falling behind. And so I was trying to figure that out 5 years ago, came across a group of YouTube or agents that were having success on YouTube, looked at what they were doing, looked at what I was doing, and realized, hey, that's drastically different than the types of videos that I'm making. And they're actually getting business, and I am not. So I really dove into what these other agents were doing, studied what their strategy was and what their content was, and started duplicating that in my own area back in the fall of 2020 and have not looked back.
It's been huge for you, which I'm really excited about. And so let's start with kind of what types of videos perform best. And that's something you've figured out over time. You've got some strategy around that.
Yeah. So whenever I looked at the business that or the types of videos that I was making 5 years ago, I was making listing videos and I was giving homeowners tips on how to lower their or appeal their property tax values or how to get their home ready for selling. And those videos got hardly any views. They're still up there on YouTube to this day, 5 years later, and they still don't have very many views, even 5 years later. And when I saw the videos that other agents were making, it was about relocating to their town or teaching people what it's like being in their area. So, not a whole lot of real estate selling in it, but more so just, hey, here is what it's like living in the North Metro Atlanta suburbs. Here are the great towns that we have. Here are the amazing parks that you're going to take your family to. Here are the beautiful neighborhoods. Here's why some people choose to live in this area versus another area. And it was all about giving value, 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 value. And then towards the end saying, and oh, by the way, I'm a real estate agent and I'd love to help you if you're thinking about making a move here. And it just clicked on me or clicked for me that no wonder people are connecting with that type of content because those are the types of people who are actually going onto the internet and searching for this type of content or people that are actually making a move. More than likely, your local sphere of influence and people locally that you would want to work with, they're not researching this online because they already know it, they already live here, and if they need a recommendation for a real estate agent, they are, asking friends, families, and neighbors for that recommendation. So the types of videos that work really well on YouTube is targeting that relocation buyer, someone that is relocating to the area that's never lived there before.
Yeah, I like it. And then so telling people what's going on in the market, telling people about specific neighborhoods. But then it seems like, too, as I scroll your page, and I'm going to show it in a minute, you do a lot of here's why you don't want to live here. Here's the mistakes that people are making about this. Here's what you need to ask so you don't make this mistake. Like almost framing this negative into a positive seems to be pretty effective.
Yes. So one of the tricks I learned along the way is that you want to think of your video titles and your topics in your video content more so along the lines of a clickbait news article. And you can do this the right way and you can do it the wrong way. And so the right way is saying, like, hey, here are 10 reasons why I would never move to this suburb. And then you're actually going to tell them some of the negatives in that video. So you're going to deliver on the promise of the title, but you're also going to flip some of those negatives into a positive because let's face it, some people like living in certain places and some people don't. And so by giving people negative video topics and delivering on that promise in a slightly positive way, it helps you build trust with your audience. It helps you build credibility because you're not just telling them all the great things, but you're also sharing with them the negative things or something that someone should be aware of if they're moving to a specific area. So, I can think of a really great neighborhood that in my area that a lot of people love, but the traffic outside of that neighborhood is a headache. And so I love to tell people, like, hey, if you're going to live in this neighborhood, be prepared that you might have to sit through a couple of stoplights before you actually are able to get into your neighborhood because of how congested that area gets. That is the type of insider knowledge that people are going to connect with, and they're going to watch these videos and they're going to say, hey, when we make the move, I want to work with that person.
Because you know your stuff. Let's go and look at your channel. This one's 5 reasons I would never move to Metro Atlanta. It's got 1,100 views, and I love your thumbnail and all this. So you're going to tell them why, but you're also giving a heads up that if you do live here, this is what you're going to experience, right?
Yes, 100%. And here's what I've learned over the course of doing these videos for 4 or 5 years now is the fact that for the most part, you're delivering the same content over and over and over again, but you're just packaging it a little bit different. And we've all been in real estate classes where we say, "Hey, I've heard this before. Like this isn't a new concept, but it's just being presented a little bit differently." And it's clicking with you. That fifth time that you hear something. Same thing with these videos. Another important thing to know about making these videos and doing them for so long and feeling like you're kind of sometimes repeating topics is you never know when someone lands on your channel for the very first time. And a trap that I found myself kind of falling into whenever making video content was like, oh, we just did this video about 4 or 5 months ago. And it wasn't until I actually saw someone, a content creator on Instagram, talk about the importance of reintroducing yourself to your audience like every 6 weeks. And she went on to say it's because you never know when someone is discovering you for the very first time. We think of it as a more sequential thing that someone's watching these videos in order, and that's not the case at all
Okay.
because the algorithm is serving up these videos to people that are likely to watch it, and you never know which video they are going to serve up. It can be something that you made 2 years ago, or it can be a video that you made 6 weeks ago. So you have to find yourself or keep yourself from falling in that mindset trap of that you have to do things sequentially, or if you've already done it, then it's time to move on. And that's just not the case. You want to keep repeating the same type of content again and again and again, just in a
Yeah.
slightly different way.
I agree with you. I've done, I don't know, 2,000 interviews and calls like this, and people ask the same questions over and over again. And it used to be in my mind, I go, we have covered that. Like
Yes.
we have already done. And so now it's just, I take the link that they'll ask on Facebook. I just take the link of the YouTube video, throw it in, say, here's the interview we did on this a while back. And then the views go way up again. It's really fascinating to see. So I love it. I want to pull up this one again that we were showing as you were talking, because when I watch this, I think, first of all, there's a ton of B-roll. So you're either shooting and then you're getting stuff wherever you're getting it for stock images and stuff like that. It's very well edited. There's a lot of work that's gone into this, but
Yes.
that's been something that you have evolved to over time. Like it would be, if someone's going to dabble, look, your first set of videos did not look like this.
Not at all. In fact, the first videos, I was actually editing them myself. And funny enough, I didn't quite understand the power of video editing. In some of my very first videos, I was like standing this close to the camera because I didn't realize that, with the power of editing tools, you can zoom in and zoom out to make it, seem like different camera angles. So I was editing those very first videos. I quickly learned that that was not a great strategy because I'm not a video editor. I'm a real estate agent. And I was staying up until, 11 o'clock at night trying to figure out how to do something. I was tired, wanted to go to bed. And so I realized that if I was going to be successful in making the commitment of putting out a video every single week, which is what you definitely have to do to be successful in this, I was going to have to leverage out the video editing. And so through that process and studying other people's content and figuring out what makes a video good, your videos are going to get better and better and better over time. So don't make the mistake of comparing your beginning to someone else's fifth year of doing something. You can definitely learn a lot of good lessons along the way from my mistakes, and that's what I'm going to teach you in the class is the mistakes that I've made along the way and some of the things that I can help you so that your journey of making videos isn't quite as painful as mine was.
I feel like, and I'm curious about this, as I was scrolling through your page, and I'll just put it back up so people can see. You have some videos that have had thousands of views. You have some that have a few hundred views, but I don't get the feeling from you that you're too tied to that. Here's one that's 416. Here's one, 1100, 1500, 6000. Like, but I don't get a vibe from you, Sarah, that that's a super important metric.
Yeah, that is a fantastic question. And I'm glad you brought this up because it's a little bit of a mindset thing that I have to remind myself of even after making video content for 4 or 5 years now. And that is those numbers at the end of the day are what I call vanity metrics. They make you feel good. They give you that validation that people are actually watching and liking what you're doing. But I could have a video with 100,000 views and, so many shares, and I could have a channel with 50,000 subscribers. But if the content that I'm making is not causing people to reach out to me, to email, to call and say, hey, we're making a move and I want to work with you, then at the end of the day, I'm just a content creator. I am not a real estate agent. And my job as a real estate agent, I want to sell people houses and help them, relocate to the area. So I focus on, are we getting leads? Are we getting phone calls? I try not to focus on the actual numbers and views because what we've learned is that some of our videos that we thought were just going to be amazing, knock it out of the park. Those are some of the videos that don't get that great of views. And then we have some videos that we feel like, oh, maybe that wasn't our best effort. And those actually perform really well. And it never fails that at some point in the process of working with leads that reach out to us from YouTube is they'll reference a video or mention something in a video that performed not that great. And so it doesn't, I have to remind myself that I'm not making videos for the masses. I'm just making videos for the people that actually care about that content and that need that information that's going to cause them to pick up the phone and reach out to me. So at the end of the day, you have to focus on, are you getting the leads? Are you getting the business? And not necessarily the views, the subscribers, and those things that just feed your ego.
So this is how you know if your socials, whatever you're doing on social media or internet or whatever is working. Are you getting leads? That's the answer. That's the
Yes.
metric to track. The other stuff is good. You and I were talking
Yes.
about that earlier. There's stuff I have that it's like, why are people watching that? It's dumb. And the stuff that I think is great, like 6 people watch. But I get people who hang out in our community because of what they see online. So that means what we're doing is working.
Yes. And
Would
I
you
find
give us,
myself
so go ahead,
falling
I'm
into
sorry,
this
please.
trap of seeing other agents' content who they have way more subscribers than I do. Their videos get way better views than I have. And I find myself feeling like, oh, am I not doing something right? And then I dig a little bit more into the numbers of their business and realize they're not getting that many leads or they're not converting that much business
Mhm.
from the content that they're making.
Yep.
So yeah, we all fall into those traps.
Are you hitting your goals? Are you on track? And is
Yes.
the lead source generating the number of leads you want? That's the metric. I think it's really good.
Yes.
Good answer. Would you give us then some best practices if we want to go in on YouTube? What are 3 or 4 really good practices that I know you're going to go a lot deeper on in your course in April and May, but give us some overview of those best practices now.
Yeah. So one of the things that you need to know before diving into this is that you have to make a strong commitment of making one really great video every single week. And so I tell agents that if you are not committed to putting out a video every single week, and this is something that you might do for 2 weeks in a row, and then you might abandon it or pick it back up 4 or 5 weeks later, put out a video, it's just not going to work. And so I would rather you make the full, strong commitment that this is something that you can do and you can do it. But you have to make that internal commitment that you're going to put out a video every single week. And that's super important. The second thing that you need to know is that making a video that's only 3 or 4 minutes long is not going to work. The videos that you are going to make need to be between 10 to 15 minutes in length. And you might hear that and you might think, oh my gosh, that's a really long video. How in the heck am I going to do that? And I promise you, it is pretty easy to fill up that amount of time if you have a concentrated topic for your video and you deliver on that title. For example, 5 reasons why I would never move to Metro Atlanta. I'm going to give them 5 reasons. And if I have 4 or 5 supporting sentences for those reasons, I know that that's going to be a 10 to 12 minute video. And so the reason that's important about that length of time is that YouTube is a little bit different than other social media platforms in the fact that it rewards watch time in minutes, not percentage of a video. So if you look at Instagram or TikTok, they like the percentage of how much are you watching of that video, whereas uh, YouTube will look at, let's say, a 10-minute video, and if someone watches um, 4 minutes of that video and then they bounce, and if you have a 3-minute video and someone watches 100% of that 3-minute video, YouTube is rewarding that 4-minute watch time on that longer video and giving it a higher priority. So that's why longer videos work best. Another thing that you need to know is that in order to make an engaging and effective video, you're going to have good B-roll. And so what is B-roll? B-roll is the videos that you see so that if I'm talking about this amazing park located in Swanee, Georgia, that your family is just going to love, as I'm talking about it, you are seeing images of what that park looks like as I'm talking about it. What you see right now, this is called A-roll. This is my talking head. You're just seeing me. B-roll is what we put on top of this in the editing software so that you are actually seeing what I'm talking about and you're not just staring at my face for 10 solid minutes. So you're going to have strong B-roll to make an effective video. And there's a lot of different ways that you can get that B-roll. And those are some of the things that we're going to dive into a little bit more of how do you actually get that footage? What makes good B-roll? What do you do if you don't have a videographer on staff? Hint, I don't have a videographer on staff. So I'm going to kind of share with you some of the things of how you can do that. And the last thing, the tip that I would share with you that you really need to know in order to make an engaging and effective video is you're going to have patience. And the reason for that is that, especially with YouTube, this is not something that is going to work instantly overnight. In fact, it may take you up to 6 months of consistently making videos to start to see this work. However, the amazing thing is that the content that you're making, for the most part, is evergreen content, meaning that the videos that you are making, the content that you're delivering is something that if someone watches it today, it's relevant. And then if someone watches it 2 years from now, it's relevant. Someone can watch this at 2 a.m. in the morning, or someone can watch it, as they're getting dressed for work. People are going to watch this all throughout the day. Video is working for you while you are not working. It is evergreen. And that is the amazing thing about this process. And the reason that you need time for this content strategy to work is that over time, the YouTube algorithm is learning and studying who watches your video. And then on the back end, they are going out there and they're trying to find more people that act and behave very similar to that person that just watched their video. So YouTube is actually working for you. They're saying, how can I find more people that want to watch this? And so it takes the algorithm a little bit of time to figure that out. And the other thing is that over time, you're going to have a library of videos. I remember at the beginning of this YouTube journey, I told someone, I was like, yeah, but I only have like 10 videos up. And they were like, Sarah, if you continue to make a video a week, at the end of the year, you're going to have 52 videos out there on YouTube. And so now, 3, 4 years later, we have over 200 videos out there on YouTube. So the strategy behind that is that at the end of making a video about Buford, Georgia, I can say, hey, and if you enjoyed this video on Buford and you think you might want to know more about this town, make sure you watch this video next. And then I'm linking to another video that I've made about Buford. Or I can say at the end of the video, if this town didn't quite feel like the right fit for you, but you wanted something kind of similar to this, make sure you check out this video. And then we are linking and displaying a video of a nearby town that offers some of the similar benefits. And so you're creating this content loop that's keeping people on your channel, and you're going to create people, fans, clients that are going to binge watch a lot of your content before they reach out to you. Very, very rarely do I ever get to the point where a phone call where a client just watches one video. In fact, for the most part, they've been watching for months or if not a year before they reach out to me. And that's not to say that you can't have clients that reach out, in the early days, because I definitely had that experience and many other agents have that experience as well. But it's why this is such an amazing strategy that just continues to have exponential growth over time.
It's really great. And I love that you're going to unpack how to do it coming up on April
Yes.
23rd. And if anyone's looking for that link on the class, it's in the comments. So just look in the comments right here and you'll be able to find it and join us on the 23rd of April. Sarah, you've done a great job. I'm looking forward to learning from you as well, because we've got a YouTube channel, but it doesn't have the engagement yours does. So I'm excited to learn from you. Thank you so much. Any final tips before we kick it?
I would just want to say that if you're watching this and you're thinking, I've always wanted to do video, but I just don't feel like it's for me, or I hate the way I look on camera, I don't like the way I sound. Trust me, I've been in that exact same spot. And I want to encourage you and tell you that there are a ton of different ways to do this and a ton of different types of people, different ethnicities, different languages, different everything. And you are uniquely you, and people are going to connect with you. So I strongly encourage you, do not let that be the reason that stands in your way, that makes you want to get on video and do the strategy. So come join us. We're going to dig into a little bit more about what we can do to make this an easier start for you.
So much opportunity. Sarah, thank you. Looking
Yes.
forward to the 23rd and what you have ahead for us. Be well. Thanks for sharing with us today.
Thank you.